Hello, this is Angelo, and we are here with another super important game-changing life coaching masterclass. Today's subject is super resonance for success. I want to talk to you about the importance of resonating with a higher operating state, with what we call here a super state, a super attitude. So, as always, before we begin, I want to thank you for being here and congratulate you for being here, because I know how easy it is for you to get distracted and derailed from your vision, from your super life, from your super business. And also, you want to congratulate yourself for being here, because it is a demonstration to yourself that you are not negotiating your vision. And this is super important. Next, of course, you want to turn off all notifications, switch off your phone if you have to, unless you're watching from it. Make sure that for the next 30 minutes in this world, it is just you and me. And of course, you're more than welcome to keep notes, but always remember that you will be having the replay at your disposal. So if you prefer, you can focus entirely on what we are discussing here. And last but not least, I want to remind you that we have crossed the point of no return, meaning that the only outcome that you allow in your consciousness is you landing happily and safely at your destination. How do you feel? The question that I am asking every single time at the beginning of each and every webinar, the question that you want to ask yourself many times during the day, simply because the better you feel, the better the quality of your life is right now, and also the more energy you have towards achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve. Of course, always remember that we have set our thermostat here to the happy and unstoppable state. And if this is not the case for you right now, you want to take a minute and practice the exercises of perspective, forgiveness, love, gratitude, and happy landing, so that you can elevate yourself back up to this happy and unstoppable state. And make sure, this is what we will be talking about today, make sure you resonate more and more with that frequency. Make sure that this frequency becomes, you become so accustomed to it, you resonate so much with it, that this is like what we call second nature to you. This is the goal. Now, do I have your attention? And yes, I did this like very common introduction, and I know that you've heard me many times before asking you to turn off all notifications and so on. But do I really have your attention? Or right now you're like, Angelo, just wait for a second. I'm just sending another message to someone, and then you will have my absolute undivided attention. Why am I telling you this? Because maybe I can, hook your attention by reminding you of what happened to Tacoma Bridge in November of 1940. And it was the strong winds that started the whole show, let's say. But basically what happened was that Tacoma Bridge started resonating with a certain frequency. And this is like a very common event in physics. And of course, by now, engineers know how to avoid that thing. And also, of course, this is something that many people, many engineers have put a lot of thought and a lot of activity so that this event will not happen in an airplane also. So this is how powerful resonance is on specific frequencies. Imagine yourself then resonating to the frequency of your super self and making that frequency, the amplitude of that frequency, so powerful that virtually nothing can derail you from expressing that attitude. Let me give you another example. This morning, you have received daily shot of inspiration number 3,576. I have hard time believing that we are about to cross the 10-year mark. And each and every day, I have been sending out to thousands of people all around the world a daily shot of inspiration. Now, why am I telling you this? Because if you've been following these sorts of inspiration for a while, you will know by now how to finish that sentence. So when I say to you, I deserve everything I want, you follow with, and everyone deserves my best self or my super self. And if I say I am happy, and immediately what comes to your mind is march unstoppable towards my vision. So these phrases you've become so accustomed to these phrases that you are resonating with them in a heartbeat. This is what like a frequent repetition of a phrase does. This is what a frequent repetition of a certain attitude during the day is doing to you. So this is very important for you to remember, because there are so many things that we can change in our lives. Mostly are right here, right? So basically what we want to do is focus more on what we can actually affect, which is ourselves. So I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. So by now, I hope that you tell me, yes, Angelo, you do have my attention now. Yes, I remembered what resonance can do to a whole bridge, and start wobbling as if it's made of plaster or anything. So I also promise to you that I will tell you why you believe, or you might believe, that success is still hard for you. And the basic understanding of this is because you still, and this is why I'm showing you an avalanche here, this is because you still most probably underestimate the momentum of your no longer serving beliefs or limiting beliefs. This is basically why. And this tends to express itself in a matter of a more core belief, let's say, in the sense of, this is who I am, Angelo. Basically, this is who I am. After so many years, I have believed that this is who I am. And no book, no seminar, no webinar, no whatever can change me. Or maybe something to the extent of, this can't be done. Yes, I've tried so many times, so many ways, and this can't be done. Or people don't change, right? So if your behavior, if your attitude fortifies a belief like this, then you create even more momentum. The avalanche gets bigger, and before you know it, this avalanche destroys your dreams. So another way of saying this is, you think, or you still believe, or you tend to believe, that things are hard or success is still hard because you don't take advantage of the power of resonance. So resonance is there for us whether we like it or not, whether we believe it or not, like gravity, right? Resonance is there. You can resonate with any frequency. And sure enough, you have resonated with a song for like maybe for days or weeks or even months. Sometimes a song that resonated in your mind, in your consciousness, maybe is one of the songs that you don't like, but you keep listening to in the radio while driving to work or back home in the afternoon. So, why am I telling you this? Because resonance is not positive nor negative. Resonance is neutral, and it depends on the frequencies you resonate with. So, do I still have your attention? Because I'm about to give you an example. I will give you a very simple example, and I will simply ask you, what will happen tomorrow if you smoke a pack of cigarettes, something that I have been doing in the past, if you go back a couple of decades or a bit more, right? Or walk a mile. So you have like two versions of you tomorrow. Like I have sloppy Angelo smoking a pack and super Angelo walking a mile. What will happen like tomorrow night? Will these two versions of me feel different? Maybe so, right? You might say, you know what, Angelo, I'm a heavy smoker. Smoking a pack will do nothing to me. I'm used to it, right? So this is why I want to take this to the next level and ask you, what will happen if for the next decade, and if we take it as if it is a daily shot of inspiration, right? So this was day 3,576. So if back in January 1st, 2015, when I started my daily shots of inspiration, you started again like creating two versions of you, if that is possible. And one version would smoke a pack a day, and the other version would walk a mile a day for 3,576 days, or 3,650 days if we take a whole decade. Would that make a difference? Or another example, what would happen to your teeth if you brush your teeth 0 times a day for a decade and 2 times a day for a decade? Would your teeth and your gums be different? And the answer is, of course. And why is so? Because you have some completely different habits, right? And now you might say, Angelo, you're talking about habits. I thought you would be talking to me about resonance. Yes, the hidden attitude behind habits, because a habit is an activity. So the hidden attitude behind an activity is resonance with something. And when you resonate with your super self, doing super or taking super actions becomes second nature, becomes automatic, and becomes effortless. This is my promise to you. Let's see it from another perspective. Let's see the power of resonance from another perspective. So right now, you have an income of $5,000. And to you, that is not enough. And you want to double your income to $10,000 so that you can feel affluent enough to have the lifestyle that you want and also the investments and the savings that you desire. Great. So you have 5K and you want to move to 10K. So what are you doing right now in order to have the $5,000? Maybe you have a job that pays $5,000, right? Or maybe you have a job and then you have another income from an apartment that you rent, whatever. Or maybe you have a business that on average gives you a profit of 5K and you want to move that to 10K. So what do you say? I have to maybe find another job, or maybe I have to work twice as much, or I have to become like twice more effective with my calls or something like that. Or maybe I should double my Facebook ads spent, right? And the answer is not necessarily. For instance, if you put more time, what you do not include in that equation is that most probably you will not be as effective, right? Because at some point, tiredness will kick in, and then ineffectiveness will kick in, and then frustration will kick in. And so you might find yourself working twice as hard and getting even less than $5,000 because you didn't deal with the core. So if this is the fruit and these are the branches, you have to deal with the core, and that is being. This is the game changer. And this is where resonance kicks in. You want to resonate with your super self, and then automatically and effortlessly you will be doing super stuff and you will be getting super results. This is something that I have struggled for years because as an engineer with a more square logical mind, I thought I should do more things, better things, different things, but never dealt with Angelo. It is hard for us to see within, I get it, but this is how you start resonating with super success. You resonate with your super self first, and then super actions become automatic, and then super results become super automatic. So you say, okay, Angelo, enough. I am sold. After a pitch of 15 minutes, I am sold. I want to resonate with my super self. How do I do it? Great question. Number one, super focus. You think from your destination, meaning you think right now as your super self would. And if this is not easy for you, and in the beginning it is not, because you have resonated with a lower version of yourself, the one that got you here but is not good enough to get you there. So you think from your destination, meaning you ask yourself, what would my super self do right now? So you walk outside, right? And you ask yourself, you walk towards, you're going to a building that is like 10 minutes away, and there is an important meeting there. And you ask yourself, how would my super self would be walking right now if I got that client, if that meeting was a super success? And immediately you find yourself starting to resonate with that attitude just by asking yourself that simple question. And you do whatever it takes to focus on that alone more and more time during the day. Next, super persistence. Many times I give you some like super actions after my super thoughts in the daily thought of inspiration follows some kind of super action. And you might ask yourself, Angelo, how many times do I do this? And the answer is until. It's not a matter of doing it once, twice, or 5 times. It's a matter of doing it until you have the results you want. So if you decide on that, and when you lock in and you think from, then you say, I'm not going to be counting how many calls I will make or how many reps I will be doing in the gym. I said until I get that kind of result. If you want a super successful relationship with your spouse, with your business partner, with your client, you will have as many conversations as it takes to clear the matter, whatever is standing in between. Next, some Greek letters for you. You have theta state that is greater than alpha state, that is greater than beta state. And this simple equation basically reminds you that the more relaxed you are, basically, the more programmable you become, and the easier it is for you to resonate with your super attitude. So when you are in a meditative state, or when you practice your happy landing exercise, why am I suggesting to do this when you wake up in the morning and as you drift off to sleep at night? Because these are the two moments during the day that it is easy for you to be at alpha and sometimes even like early theta state, and then you become much more programmable, meaning it takes far less time and far less effort to resonate with something much higher. So if you envision yourself at your destination and think from your destination, not of your destination, then you make leaps. Because remember that resonance has to do with the amplitude of a certain frequency. This is where resonance happens. So if you want to compress the time it takes to achieve something, you want to increase the power, the amplitude. And this can happen at an alpha and even theta state. Next, very, very important, by narrowing the threshold. So you might have a thermostat, okay, at $10,000. And then you say, Angelo, what I experience though is that my results vary from 1K to, let's say, 15K. Why is that? Why my results tend to be so low at some point, during the year, maybe a few months I have like very mediocre sales or profit results. like $1,000, where like my average is about 8,000 and my destination is 10,000? And the answer is that you have a high threshold of tolerance. And as Tony Robbins says, in life, you don't get what you want, you get what you tolerate. So what am I suggesting here is for you to like have a very delicate and very powerful radars in your consciousness on how you feel during the day. And this is why I ask you so many times, how do you feel? I want this to be one of your most powerful habits. And then you practice like micro forgiveness, micro gratitude, and micro happy landings in order to trim that attitude back as close as possible to the happy and unstoppable state. So always remember that during the day, there will be some times that you will feel super, and there will be many times that you will probably feel sloppy or close to the version of you that was up until yesterday because of the momentum that we talked about before. And this is okay. This is not something that you will be, like beating yourself. Like, oh, why am I feeling bad again? Oh, I'm not at peak state. Oh, I'm not at the best state to make these phone calls right now and close some clients or make this webinar. No, this is simply for you to acknowledge that, to accept that, and do something about it. You have the tools to elevate your state. You have the tools to get closer to the frequency that you want to resonate with. So it's all a matter of working hours. It's all a matter of the time that you spend smoking versus the time that you spend walking, if we take the example that I've given you before. And I want to give you like another way of seeing this. So if we talk about energy, because in order to get from point A to point B, wherever in the universe, you need energy. And energy, the definition of energy, the equation of energy is power times time. Okay? So the most common measure of energy is kilowatt hours that we measure like for electricity and all these uses of energy. So now you have super hours. So what you want basically, and of course you know the opposite by now, it's sloppy hours. I'm not going to write it here. I want to have, like only positive messages for you. But this is basically it. How many super hours you have against sloppy hours. So one of my greatest mentors, Neville Goddard, used to say, of course, you don't want to like meditate on your ideal outcome and then for like 5 minutes, and then the rest 23 hours and 55 minutes see yourself like in a horrific scenario, right? What you want is to elevate and increase the amount of time that you invest in that super state. And this is when resonance happens. So super resonance is the outcome of persistently focusing on a super attitude. So it will take persistence, it will take patience, but it is a fact. It is not something that you will be hoping for, let's say. It is an absolute certainty. It is math, it is physics, it is law. This is what I want to leave you with. As we conclude this webinar, I want you to remember, and I'm always like, I don't want to say struggle for better words. I'm always fighting for better words, for an even better and more precise articulation. And in one of my coaching calls today with a client, I found a way to convey the message in a way that I have never done this before. So by the end of our call, what I said was this. What we are doing here, so it is a relatively new client. So I said, what we are doing here is not that I am trying to help you become your super self. Is I am trying to help you see that you were already your super self in the first place. This is why I'm so passionate about pointing out to you that right now, if you protect your focus, and if you think from your destination, and if you see more yourself as the person that you want to become, then everything else, the doing and the having, becomes automatic and effortless. This is why I believe today's message is so important, because it capitalizes on the work that we did the last 2 months. It is paramount to embrace the superpower of resonance. And another way for you to see it is that when super attitude becomes your natural state, super success becomes your natural result. It is law. It is not something you will not, never, ever again hope to be successful. It will be the state of being that will guarantee your success. Your state of being, not Angelo, not a book, not a seminar, but your state of being will be guaranteeing your success if you simply resonate with your super attitude. And I want to leave you with an amazing example. I looked it up. I don't know if it's true or not, but I love the gist of it. So I looked up and I Googled basically on which was, up until now, the greatest concert in terms of attendance. And I found out that this was Rod Stewart's New Year's event in Rio de Janeiro back in 1994, where more than 3.5 million people attended, if you can believe that. It is crazy, I know, but I found out a picture that kind of supports this, this statement. Okay, so definitely a lot of people, definitely millions, right? So anyway, why am I giving this information? So maybe you like Rod Stewart, maybe not, but most probably you have a song that you can bring to your mind right now. And imagine that this song is playing in this concert. And imagine 3.5 million people starting to resonate with this song, right? This is powerful stuff. 3.5 million people started to resonate with the song. And if you've been to a big concert, you know how powerful resonance is. When you feel like you're like a family of tens of thousands of people, right? Great. Now imagine that all the trillions of your cells, of your body, start to resonate with the frequency of your super self. Just by talking about it, I get goosebumps. Just by talking about it. Imagine what is possible for you if each and every cell of your being starts to resonate with the frequency of your super self. It is game-changing. So I promised game-changing in the beginning. It is game-changing. So is your focus, is you upgrading your focus, protecting your attention, being attentive of your attention, as I like to say many times, is it worth it? Shifting your attention back, the rudder, back, steadfast towards your destination, thinking from your destination, resonating more with the image and the consequent feelings of your super life and your super business. And then everything else, the doing, the action that needs to be taken becomes automatic. In fact, sometimes you will see, you will have consistent proof that you don't even have to lift a finger. I had another coaching call this morning where my client said, the biggest client ever, bigger than ever than the clients that I've had before in the many years of my business, called me. I didn't do anything. They called me. So Sometimes you don't have to take action, but you do have to take enough action for you to resonate with your super self. This is the game-changing attitude. So, I'm not going to leave you without homework, of course. Number one, make your mental and emotional threshold narrower. Keep it as close to your super state as possible. And, of course, trim that state. If you find yourself in a lower state, act immediately. Make this a habit of yours. And immediately use the exercises of forgiveness and gratitude, like the two most common and the two easiest, the most accessible to you, and practice them like for a few seconds to get yourself back up and as close to the happy and unstoppable state. Yes, if you have time for a happy landing, do it. And you know by now that you don't even have to close your eyes and like be in a meditative state. As you drive, you can start thinking yourself at your destination, and you may feel like a smile popping in, right? And you know you're in the right direction. You know that your frequency is going up, and you start to resonate with your super self. This is all it takes, a few seconds. But you need to be attentive of your attention. You need to know like how many, like a gazillion things that are doing their very best to steal your attention during the day. So if I had your attention up until now, I'm so grateful for that. I so thank you for still being here after how many, like 32 minutes. I believe this was one of the most important webinars of the year, and definitely one of the most important that I've done in the, I don't know, like how many by now, like 11 years that I'm doing personal development webinars, because it took me a while to understand that when you resonate with your super self, you take all like the effort out of the equation, the struggle and the hustle. We struggle and we hustle because we don't see ourselves as our super selves, but as our sloppy selves. So we have to like catch up with effort. We have to put in effort for our no longer serving limiting beliefs. And we take the momentum for granted, but now you know what to do about it. Now you have the exercises, now you have the tools. Now you know how important and valuable focusing towards your destination as much time as possible, and how much difference that makes. So, thank you for being here. I love you so much. I am so happy that we're doing this together and we're in this journey together. And of course, I'm going to leave you simply by saying you deserve everything you want, and we all deserve your best self. I'm wishing you an amazing week, and we will be seeing each other tomorrow morning with another shot of inspiration. Ciao, ciao.